Hello everyone, welcome back to my learning session. Learn with me. Today we are going to continue on the same topic, cloud platform integration. In that we will be continuing the topic on node functions. In the last session we saw about a CreateIF node, right? We are using a CreateIF node, how we can the target system, how we can create a node based on some conditions. And today we are going to see about some of the other functions as shown here. They remove context, sort, split by value, collapse context, and format by pattern. So we will take one use case and see that to arrive that use case, these 5 functions we are going to use it, and how we are going to use it, that we will see it. Okay, for that I took a use case like this. I have incoming message as like this. Assume that you are having a store and you are having a point of sale terminal. So based on each sale you made it, one entry will be created, and at the end of the day the consolidated entry will come to you for the processing. Okay, so in the point of sale terminal, assume that the entries are created like this. The each node of the point of sale terminal POS, you will have a store ID which is a constant, store ID and store name, and the material you sold it. Okay, like this it will be keep on coming, and at the end of the day it will consolidate and send it to you. So the consolidated format will be like this. So you'll have a, for this example, let us see, there is a store ID called 1000. This store ID has made 3 transactions for that day. Each store material 8000, 8002 and 8004 has been sold out. For the store ID 001, there are some more items that has been sold out. At the end of the day, you will get this will be sent out at the end of the day. And for our requirement is that we have to consolidate the entry into this way, like store ID will form as a header. The store ID will form as a header, and for each material sold, that will be coming as a transaction items with a tag item. So item 1000, wall clock, and material name and quantity, like this. Okay, let me expand it a little bit. Yeah, now it will be clear, right? So the item, material name and quantity. Anyway, material name and quantity. So this store is completed. The next store, you have another 2 items, right? So in our message mapping, from this source, this is the target. So how we are going to transform using the node functions, that is our objective. Okay, now I will go back. I will just make it bigger. Okay, this is what we are going to focus. So as I told you, this is my incoming, and this store is consolidated into a target structure like this. Technically speaking, we are doing a flat XML to a tree XML. Okay, you can see that, right? Okay, now let us I will give you an overview of how I am going to do it, then we will go to the exercise directly. Okay, once the message mapping is created, like loading the source schema and target schema, the screen will be looking like this, and I am going to mapping as shown here. POS to daily sales is direct contact. Just to give, see, this is a POS and this is daily sales, right? So this is the mapping we are going to do it. POS to daily sales is direct, no issues, it is straightforward. Now coming to store, okay, each store tag inside in this source should form a node here, right? This is a value here, but here it is a node. So I am going to map it like this, right, as shown in a blue. I am going to map it like this, and your mapping information will be like this. Store ID. First I will remove all the context. What do you mean by remove context? What is the sort, what is split by value? I will show in a practical way so that you can visualize that. So what we'll do is remove context. Remove context is nothing but you are going to remove the context things, meaning for an example, if you are having a ALV report, you are going to do a subtotal, right? Subtotal will be based on some key value, right? The same way, the message mapping, you will have some subtotal kind of a row which is virtual, it is not exact, it is not a physical thing. So that virtual breakup will be removed. That is called remove context. I will show in the practical way. Sort is straightforward. Split by value is a grouping, right? Collapse context is after grouping, take the first value only and do it. So we will see that in a practical way so that you can understand it. But just to give an overview, you can see like this. So each store value will go to a tag here. So this mapping concept will be like this. I will remove context, sort it, split by value, collapse context, and go to store again. Right. Secondly, store name is store ID to store ID. Right. So once we created a tag, then the store ID should come here, right? As you see here, this store ID, store name should come here. So this store ID, for that the mapping concept is like this: store ID, remove context, split by value, collapse context, again split by value, and store ID. Okay, why we are using this in the practical way I will show you so that you can get it. And store name is straightforward, no changes in that. Finally, this is very important. Now when you are transferring a material ID to the target system, the material ID is not unique it will be unique only when it will go along with the store. For an example, a material A is stored by store ID 1, store ID 2, and store ID 3. When you are transferring this material ID to a target system, it has to go along with the store information. Only then the combination will be unique, right? So that is why you can see this mapping will go with two things. First, store ID, remove context, split by value, and go to item. But it has to go along with the material, right? This combination. That is why I am getting material and make it as a format by. Format by example is like grouping with a parent and child, right? Then you will go to item. That's it. Remaining things are same. Then material ID will go directly material. Once this is formed, when you are directly mapping it, this context will take care of it. Material name will material quantity will be direct. No changes in that. So only these three things we have to take care of it. Only when you are transferring store to node, what you should do it, and when you are transferring store to store ID, what you have to do it, and when you are transferring the material. Transferring the material, it is to go along with the store. These things we will do it. So effectively we have seen remove context, sort, split by value, collapse context, and format by pattern. So these things we will see in a exercise once we go to BTBN and show you. Okay. Okay. Now I am inside the BTP. Let us start with a new message mapping and start using this node functions. Okay. So for that I will create a new message mapping. So I will name it as mm05. Sorry, mm05. Okay, I will add it. Okay, now inside the message mapping. So as you know, for the message mapping we should have that XML schema file has to be loaded, right? So for that I will create a source schema, add the source schema. So I will say it's my source XST, right? I will open it. Same way I have to have a target SST. Okay, now in the message mapping you can see that these files are loaded now. Source and target schemes are loaded. So I will keep it like this. I don't want, let me have more space. So now we should start our message mapping. So first initially we will, let me open it. I will create some more space. Let me open it. So my source file will have a very flat kind of XML which has store wise detail. What is the store ID, what is the store name, what are the material they have stored. For each material they sold, there will be a complete tag will be there. Okay. Now for the target, all these stores are clubbed together, form a header, and for each material that will form a transactions as an item tag. This is what our requirement, right? So how to transform this data to this using a node functions, we are going to see that. So for that let me connect, this is very simple, the parent tag to parent tag, the top node, and the store ID. For each store ID, that means for each unique store ID it should form a for each store ID it should form a unique tag in the target. So I will connect it. Okay. Then the same store ID should come here also. Store name to store name will come, right? Then comes the items. Now let us focus on these first, then we will go to the item part. For the time being I will make item as disable. Okay, now I will save it. It is saved now. Now we are going to connect the store ID to store node, this function, right now it is showing as simple, this store to store store ID value to store node. Okay, how we are going to transform it using a node functions. Let me refer to my PowerPoint. Store ID to store. First should I use remove context, sort, split by value, collapse context, right? So what to do that? First I will delete it. I will go to node functions. I will use remove context. Once it's connected, I will show you why we are using it and how it is working. Remove context. After remove context, we have to sort it. So I will use sort. I'll give sort. So remove context output will go to sort input. After sort, we have to give split by value. Split by value. So split by value, I am connecting it. Here you have to be careful. What is the value you are going to use it in advanced? Whether you are going to do for every value, or you are going to have an empty value. Whenever the empty comes, then you do it, or every value change. So right now we are going to use value change. I will explain you when we see the real data, you will know the difference. Now it comes to value change. After that, we have to use collapse context. Okay. Then I'll use collapse context. So output of split value will go to our collapse context and connect to store. That's it. That ends now. So this portion is ended. For every store ID, it will go and create a new node if it is a new store ID comes. If it is an existing store ID, then no new node will be created. That is what our requirement. Okay. Now we will see whether it is how it works by loading the data. Okay. For that testing, I will browse it. I will put my source file, source XML. Then I will simulate it. Okay. So my source will have like this. We have a store ID 1000, store ID 1000. 2 materials has been stored, and there are 3 transactions for the store 1000, and there are 2 transactions for store 1001. So effectively we should get only 2 stores here in the target. Okay, let us see it. See, good now. So far good. It created only 2 stores. Store ID 1000, but here store ID 1000 only coming here, right? It should effectively come 1001. Then we will see further how it works. Right? Close it. For that, what we have to do is the node only it is working. Now we have to do the same thing here. Okay, that we will see how it works. So I will create here. It is the same thing. Store ID to store ID. Right? Let me see what is that we are doing there. Store ID to store ID. Same thing we have to do. Remove context, split by value, collapse context, again split by value. Right? I will go to store ID. Delete this. I will use remove context. Okay. Split by value. After completing this, we will see what is the use of this all this node, then you will realize that how the data is transformed. Just wait for a minute. Split by value. So display value will be again same thing. Advanced, it will be a value change. After this, again collapse context. Collapse context. After that, again split by value. This one and go here. Okay, now we will see it. This also value change. Let us simulate. See now, okay. 2 nodes to be created, 2 nodes are created. Store ID is okay now. Store ID 1000, store ID 1001. Okay, but the name is wrong. That we will see again further. Okay, now we will go to store name. So far good. So let us continue the other things. Okay, before going to that, I will explain you the concept why we are also doing this. Okay, okay, now we will see the store name also. For that store name also we should do the same thing as what we have done for store ID. So that what I will do is I will go to store ID, I will copy it. The structure is same, so I am going to copy it. I will go to store name, then I will paste it here. It is same, so instead of store ID, so store name will come here. Same way, remove context. And after split value, it should go to store name. Right, this I will save it now. Now we will save it. I will simulate it. Correct, now everything is good. So we have at five transactions, 2 for store 1000, 3 for store 1000 and 2 for 1001. So it created 2 nodes. So the header is okay now. Before we go to the transaction part, now I will explain the node functions. Okay, why we are doing so, for what purpose. As I told you, first let us start with here, store ID to store. Okay, so let us see the mapping now. Remove context. Why we need to remove context? Let us go by display queue. Okay, I will go to display queue. Display queue is nothing but it will show you the it's kind of a debugging how the data is getting flowed. Right. So see the original one, the input to this function. For each change, there is a gray item, right? For each change, there is a gray item. So this gray item is a virtual thing. It is not a actual row. It is a virtual row. So we have to remove this virtual row before we start processing any data. That is what the remove context is doing. That means it is removing this virtual context endpoints, sorry, virtual context rows. So it removes these things and finally give me this is my actual row in my data, 3000 and 2001. Okay, let us close this. After removing this is a sort which is very clear. Since already we are in a sorted order only, so you may not see any difference, but just for make sure we are doing it in a sorted way, because we are going to take a unique value out of this row. So first we will sort it and pick up the unique rows. So this is what sort is doing. After sort, there is a split by value. What is split by value? So now it is exactly same as what this one. Initially it was the gray row was happening for every row, right? What we did is we remove this, sort it, and again put back the gray row. That means we are grouping it now. This is what split by value do it. The important point in the split by value is that the advanced part. In the advanced part it shows, if you choose each value, that means again you will get the same input as the original. You again put a gray item for every row, right? That we don't want. That is what we deliberately removed it. Now second part is empty value. We don't have any empty value. Whenever there is an empty value, you put a break. So that is not our scenario now. Our scenario is every value, unique value change. There is 1000, so it keep on 1000 will come. 1000 change to 1001, there will be a gray item. So that is what we did. So we choose value change. So this is very important to remember things, right? That's all. So now you see the difference. This is my original. At this end, this is my output, right? So this kind of jumbled data is grouped and organized in this way, right? So now you got a point of how the remove context is doing, how sort is doing, what is the split by value, right? Now again we are doing the another last point is the collapse context. Collapse context is nothing but after getting this grouping, take the first available value, right? So you grouped it, and it from the output of this you take the 1000 and you take the 1001. It's like you are sorting and pick up the first value. Okay, now you got the point. That's all. That is what our requirement is. This means that from the list of your store ID, take the unique IDs and in a sorted way and create a node. So when you see this, from this list 1000, there are 5 records are there, 3 for 1000, 2 for 1001, and finally you take only the 2. You take only the 2, right? You take only the 2. That 2 is coming as a node here. That's all. This is what this remove context or split by value, collapse context are doing. So more or less we will be using here and there all these functions and arrive the node and value. Okay, hope now you go at this point. Now what are these functions doing it? Okay, now before going to this store ID is also doing the same thing. Remove context, split by value, again collapse context, split by value, right? So let us see here, display queue. So it's more or less similar, and at this point display queue is this one, right? previously what we did is we took only the unique value, so we took one and do the collapse context, right, like this. So we took only one and create a node, but we want both the things to come here, right, as a store ID. So we cannot, sorry, I didn't explain properly. So when you say split by value, it's splitted, right? Now it is splitted. The last session what we did is after split by value we took a collapse context and take the first value only, right? This one we took it and this one we took it and create a node. That is for node purpose. Now but here is store ID value itself, so we cannot remove these items, but at the same time we want to have a unique value, right? So what it is, this collapse context will give me the final output unique value, and each of these unique value we need it. So we need a break gray item here, right? 1000 on gray item, 1001 on gray item. That is why we do the split by value again. In the split by value again it is a value change. So at this moment the display queue will give you, so 1000 gray item, 1001 gray item. So these two value will be treated as a valid input. So store ID will come 1001, 1001, 1000 and 1001. Okay, now you get the point. The same thing applies to the store name also. Same thing applies to the store name. Alright, now we will simulate again and see the output. So we got it. Two unique store has been created and the store ID and store name has been coming correctly, right? Now we will see the item part. Okay, now we will work on the item part. Before that I will let me enable it. Okay, now what we have to do is, first every material should go to a material, right? At the same time every material, the transaction should go as a transaction node also. Okay, further how we will do it, first I will do material to material. Material to material, right? And at the same time material to item also. Material to item also, right? And also these materials are depends on the store, right? These materials are depends on the store. For example, material A is sold by store A and store B also, then this material is not unique, right? The material is unique only when it is combined with the store. So there should be a connection with the store also. So this store to item should be connected. This store ID, right? Store ID to item, material to item, material to material. Store ID to item, store ID to item, material to item, and material to material. And other things are straightforward, right? Now let us see this how it works. Now very first thing is, material to item. Let us go here. Material to item. Store ID to also item should come. Before store ID, what we have to do is we have to remove context. Same way, because multiple store ID, the combination of material store will have multiple store ID. So I will remove the context. I will remove context. After removing context, what we should do? Split by value. So you know all the things, right? So I am not re-explaining it. So I will do the split by value. Split by value also value change. Split by value change. Then now effectively should go to item, but here the combination, because material is combined with store, right? So material to item node is going, but not for every material, right? Material A is sold by 1000 and material A also sold by 1001 also. So this should not come along with the store. So that is where the format by example come in picture. So format by example, I'll put it here. So the format example has a 2 input, so that will come here, as an input. Pattern will be a store, right? Then it goes to item. Okay, now you got the point. So this is the only new thing you are seeing it now. You know what is remove by context, you know what is split by value. So you are taking the unique store ID that comes for a pattern for each material in combination with that specific store ID forms the transaction node. Okay. So format by example has a 2 input, the line item input as a input and the header as a pattern. Right. Now we will go to simulate. Let us see how it works. See, now as I told, we should have a two store we got it. First store header is same, 1000 is store, and as I told you, there are 3 items sold for the 1001. What is 8000, 8002 and 8004. These are all the 3 items they have sold it. So 3 node has been created, 8000, 8002 and 8004. Okay, the same way the other store 1001, 8003 and 8001 is sold out. That's it. Okay, so you might be worrying that why we did not do anything on these two parts, because this item is controlled by this item node is controlled by these two combination. The name and quantity is following that parent node. So that is why we need not to do any specific node functions for this. So automatically it will come. Okay, now you got the point. Now I hope so. So effectively what we did is we are transforming the data from a flat XML to a tree XML using some node functions. What are the node functions we saw? It is we saw that remove context, sort, split by value, collapse context, and store. Remove context will remove the break in change in every value, or change in each value, or change in null value. There are concepts like, so that gray items are removed. You are sorting it. Again we are grouping it. Split by values once is sorted. Here the gray items were in every row. Here gray items are on a grouped way. After grouping, take the first occurrence, that what collapse context will do, and create a unique node, right? And for the store ID, almost same, but additionally after collapse, again we are breaking it because we need individual value, so we put another split by value and assign it to store ID. And for this there is a format by expression. When you are having a grouping of combination of a uniqueness, then we will be using the format by example, where in the format by example individual line item will come as an input, and it parent node, its dependency parent node will come as a pattern. That is, for us in our case it is a store, so that forms the item node. Okay, hope this video is helpful to you. Please do comment your questions or remarks. I will be happy to answer you back. Okay, thank you for watching my video, and please do comments, and please do subscribe if you like my videos. Okay, thank you.